Summer's gone, I'm latching on. Don't even know your name, but you're still in my head. Underneath rays of gold, your body oh so close. No, I can't forget, no. When I saw you on the dance floor, oh, I saw you who saw me first. I guess it's history now, and I shouldn't care, but it still hurts. I didn't realize the danger, cause you're the end of the rainbow. And the music was so loud, didn't catch your name over this crowd. Girl, you should wear a name tag, cause all I wanna do is to know your name. Girl, you should wear a name tag.
Hello and welcome to RCKicks. I'm Rebecca, and on today's show we're going to be building the Monster Herbie Beetle. This is only the second RC car that I've ever built after the Porsche 911. I decided on this one because we go out in the countryside walking. I want to be able to take it with us. We got a really good deal on the black edition, so that's the one that we've got here, and we've got everything out ready to go. We decided after some of the comments from my unboxing video that we should keep the black body, and Gavin's going to paint this up and put the original decals on it. So we've also got a red body, and this is the one we're going to be making into Herbie. So we've got the bearing kit ready to go, and I've got everything out on the desk ready to start. Got the instructions here as well. One upgrade that we might do in future is the MIP ball dip upgrade. Now this is quite an expensive one. We found it from America, but with the import and the handling fee it's going to be quite expensive. So if you think this is something that maybe we could do in the future, then let us know and we can think about this. We're going to make a start now. Okay, so we're just doing the chassis now. This is step 2 in the instruction booklet. In this part you have to sandwich these two main parts of the chassis together, and there's several parts that you need to put in between before you screw them together. There's a bar here that you can screw in on one side. This then helps to keep everything together so you don't lose bits when you're sandwiching it together. The part that's quite difficult is getting the screws in, so because it's the hard plastic I found it quite difficult sometimes to tighten up the screws when I'm putting it together. So now we're going to go on to step 3, and I've got all the pieces here lined up ready to go. Okay, so we've now moved on to do step 3, 4 and 5 in the instruction manual. This part here was attaching the suspension stays. Gav managed to give me the wrong screws for that, so I had to rectify his mistake, take those out and put them back in again, which took me a little bit longer. We then went on to step 4, which is the steering servo, this part here. So you can get a mod for that, which is the Ampro Engineering Centre Servo mod, which will centralise this part and improve your steering. We went for quite a big servo, so this car's going to have quite big wheels, so we're going to use the 30 kg servo in here. On the next page we went on to step 5. So the transmitter receiver, mine hasn't arrived yet, so I'm going to be using Gav's. He's given me this Futaba one to put on here. I'm going to be using the FSGT3C, so when that arrives we're going to swap that out. So next we're going to go on to step 6, which is the steering. We've now got to stage 6 up until 13. So this is what the car is looking like now. For stage 6 we did the steering tie rods. So we needed to line these up. You need to measure them out, and when we attached them we found they weren't quite the right size. They needed to be altered again. We then went on and centered the steering servo. So that was all done because you have to put the cover on after that, so we had to connect it up and make sure that was all centered. On step 8 we did the front axles, these parts here. Now these are quite different to the other off-road vehicle chassis like the Frog, so Gavin tells me. We then did attaching the front uprights, which was step 9. Went on and put that bit all together. We did attaching the front damper stay, which is step 11. That's this part here. And then went on to step 12, which is attaching the dust cover. So after this, we're going to go on to 13, which is the start of the gearbox. The gearbox is on. We've done step 13 and 14 now. So the gearbox was quite different to the 911 TTO2 chassis that I built before. It was quite fiddly, lots of little pieces to make sure that we put in. Gav gave me a bit of a hand with that. It feels quite old school though, it's quite a basic one. And we know that's all working now, which is brilliant. The motor that I'm going to be using, we're not going to start with the one that's supplied in the box. We're going to go with this Sport Tune motor, just a bit of a bigger motor for the car so that we can go out with it. It's got quite big wheels. Next we're going to be going on to step 16. So we're going to go on to the shafts, the rear axles, and then we're going to go on to the dampers and the springs. Let's crack on. Well, it's all taking shape. We've got the suspension on. So we had to remember gold ones at the back, the silver ones go at the front. It was really difficult when we were trying to screw these on. So this part here is quite flexible, and when you're trying to get the screw to go in, that's quite difficult. So you could even take this section off and screw it in, which might help. We've now got the motor on. Now the motor, the clearance with the shocks and the motor, it's really tight there. So to get around that problem, the motor's slightly offset so that it will just fit in. It's really tight, it fits in nicely there. So moving on to the next bit, we are now on number 29. So we're going to be attaching the rear body mount next, and then we're going to be doing the rear bumper. Well, I've finished the chassis. I'm really pleased with it. So here is my Monster Beetle. It was mostly quite straightforward, had a little bit of guidance from Gav, but most of it I could do myself, and I'm really pleased with it. We're waiting on the transmitter receiver to turn up, but it's fully functioning as it is now. The next video is going to be of the body. So this is going to be the Monster Herbie Beetle. We need to order the VW cream paint, and we're waiting on the Herbie decals, which we've ordered from MCI. We'll probably replace the wheels, I think. These ones look quite blingy. They're not really very in keeping with Herbie. So we need to think about something else we could do with those. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell for new content, and we'll see you soon. Bye everyone.